Hi.
Hello.
My name is Justine Rumble. I'm an admissions counselor from the University of Rochester, so welcome to campus. We'll be about 20 to 30 minutes for the interview, and then if you have any questions, we'll come back and get them answered then.
In some cases, the parents will be hesitant to leave. If this happens, here is an example of how you might handle the situation.
I thought maybe I would just go with you.
Actually, we do interviews on a one-on-one basis. That gives the student an opportunity to be themselves and answer questions a little bit more without distraction. It also shows their independence in the application process a little bit more. So if you want, you can have some coffee in the lobby. We'll be about 20 to 30 minutes and come back and see if you have questions then.
Thank you.
Right. All right, so welcome to Rochester. I actually will be the first person reading your application, so I'm really excited to get to know you. I'm interested in a lot of the same things that you are, too. I did a lot of that while I was in college.
Put the student at ease by starting off with light conversation, then transition into the interview when the student seems comfortable. Remember, there are no required questions you must ask. Your goal is to have a relaxed conversation that provides additional insight into the applicant's interests, passions, and unique qualities that cannot necessarily be gleaned from their application. This helps to gauge whether or not they are a good fit for Rochester and vice versa. So most of your questions should elicit responses to help us determine this. For example,
but I see you're interested in engineering. So tell me a little bit about where that interest came from.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in how things come from conception to reality, I guess.
some students may not be as talkative as others because they're nervous or shy. If this happens, try to get them to open up by asking more open-ended questions that will allow them the opportunity to say more than just yes or no. Something like,
So when it comes to your courses in high school and what you've been doing all along, what were some of your favorite experiences from high school?
I've been pretty active on my debate team, and I've done a lot of speech events in particular. I've gone to a couple tournaments and done extemporaneous and impromptu speech events, and I've placed a couple times. And I'm going to be even more involved this coming year, and I'm going to try to get some more debate involved in there, do some Lincoln Douglas events, hopefully go to a bunch more tournaments, and should be a pretty cool experience.
Cool.
towards the end of the interview, give the student the opportunity to ask you questions about the U of R and your own experiences. They may have questions you can't answer. If this is the case, let them know you'll look into it and get back to them with the answer and any other information they're looking for. If you direct the question to Beth Luke in the admissions office, she'll get back to you with an answer as soon as possible.
So do you have any questions that you want to ask me?
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, I've been pretty involved in my school's Young Democrat Club. So I was just wondering how you stand on the upcoming election and what you think the result is going to be.
Here is an example of a question that may not be appropriate for this type of discussion. If you are asked a question that deals with politics, religion, race, or some other controversial subject, it's best to steer the conversation away from these topics. Likewise, please don't ask the student questions about their personal viewpoints on sensitive topics.
Hi.
Hi.
So we had a really good conversation. I'm just wondering if you had any questions at all.
Save some time at the end of the interview to speak with the student's parents. Let the family know that if they have any questions later on that they can contact you. After the interview is complete, you'll need to fill out your evaluation. Try to do this as soon as possible so the details are still fresh in your mind. It doesn't need to be long. Be sure to capture the highlights of the interview and any information that provides more insight into the student's interests, strengths, and unique characteristics. Remember to submit your interview form to the admissions office via email or online. Just to recap, here are some points that you should remember when preparing for and conducting interviews.